Have you ever noticed something really strange? Picture this. You're in bed with your partner. The mood is building. Everything feels electric. She leans in close, whispers daddy in his ear, and you can literally see his whole body respond. His shoulders straighten, his eyes darken. There's this shift in energy. He's into it. Now flip the scenario. Same intimate moment, same building tension. He tries calling her mummy, and her face freezes. Maybe she laughs awkwardly. Maybe she pulls back a little. Please don't call me that. The mood just deflated like a balloon. Why does the exact same type of parental nickname get such wildly different reactions? Today, we're diving into the cultural codes and psychological differences behind this. And at the end, I'll give you names that actually make women melt instead of cringe. Imagine you're watching a movie scene. There's a confident, well-dressed man in his 30s leaning against a doorframe. He's got that composed, self-assured energy. When someone calls him daddy in that context, you immediately understand what it means. It's not about actual fatherhood. It's about control, about being the one who takes charge of the situation. It signals maturity, like he's been around, he knows what he's doing. There's experience written all over him, and there's this protective quality, this sense that he's strong enough to handle things, dependable in a way that feels safe, but also thrilling. When a guy hears daddy in an intimate moment, his brain lights up in a very specific way. Picture him getting a text that just says, yes, daddy, after he suggested something during your conversation. He sits up a little straighter. There's this immediate rush of validation. He feels affirmed, like you're genuinely attracted to him, like you see him as sexually compelling. He feels empowered, like you trust him enough to take the lead, to make decisions, to guide what happens next. And crucially, he feels desired as a man, not just appreciated as a nice boyfriend or a good partner, but wanted in a raw physical way. Think about the cultural images we've absorbed. Movies, music, even memes. Daddy, in a sexual context, has been coded as dominant, experienced, protective, sexy. It's everywhere. When a guy gets called this, he's stepping into a role that culture has already validated as attractive. It's like putting on a costume that society already decided looks good. Now let's imagine the opposite scenario. Same intimate setting, candlelight maybe, soft music playing. Everything's going well until he says mummy. Suddenly her mind goes somewhere completely different. She's not thinking about desire or attraction anymore. She's thinking about her actual mother, or worse, thinking about herself pushing a stroller in the park, exhausted with spit up on her shoulder. She's thinking about 3 a.m. feedings and tantrums and endless laundry. The word mummy in our culture carries so much baggage. Close your eyes and think about what images come up when you hear mother. It's warmth, yes, but it's also sacrifice. It's a woman with her hair in a messy bun, wearing sweatpants, wiping a kid's nose. It's someone who hasn't slept properly in months. It's beautiful in its own way, absolutely, but it's not sexy. Our entire cultural narrative around motherhood has stripped it of sexuality. Mothers in movies and TV shows are caring, they're nurturing, they're selfless, but they're rarely portrayed as objects of desire. So when a woman hears mummy during sex, her brain makes these instant connections. She might feel like, wait, am I taking care of you right now? Am I your mother figure? There's this sudden awareness of domestic labor, of responsibility, of being needed rather than wanted. The sexual energy that was building just evaporates. One moment she felt like a desired woman, the next moment she feels like she's been assigned a job. I've heard women describe this feeling. One friend said it was like being in the middle of a kiss and suddenly remembering I have to do the grocery shopping. Another said, it's like he put me in mom jeans mentally. The passion just dies because the cultural coding of mummy is completely non-sexual. Let me paint you two contrasting pictures to really drive this home. Picture a guy at a bar or in a bedroom scene in a film. A woman whispers daddy to him. He leans back, there's a slight smirk on his face. His confidence visibly increases. He feels like he's winning. His posture changes. He feels powerful, sexy, in control. The role of daddy in that moment makes him feel more masculine, more dominant, more attractive. Now picture the reverse. A woman in the same intimate setting. He calls her mummy. Watch her face. There's confusion first, then maybe a flash of discomfort. Her shoulders might tense up. Instead of feeling sexier, she feels less sexy. Instead of feeling desired, she feels like she's been put in charge of someone else's needs. The term mummy doesn't make her feel powerful or attractive. It makes her feel like she's been given a caretaking role she didn't sign up for in that moment. The psychological mechanics are completely opposite. For him, daddy equals sexual validation plus a power boost. For her, mummy equals domestic obligation minus sexual appeal. One term adds to the attraction, the other subtracts from it entirely. So what actually works? What makes a woman's breath catch instead of making her mentally check out? Imagine you're whispering to her in a quiet moment. You call her baby girl and watch what happens. There's this softening in her expression. She feels seen as feminine, as someone precious, as someone you want to take care of in a protective, not parental way. Or try pretty girl when she walks into the room. Notice how she might touch her hair or smile in that pleased, slightly shy way. These terms make her feel like a woman you desire, not a mother figure you depend on. Now picture a moment when the energy is more intense, more charged. You're close to her. Maybe you've got your hand on her waist or against the wall beside her head. You lean in and call her my girl, with that slight edge in your voice. See how her pupils might dilate a little. There's ownership in that phrase, but it's possessive in a sexy way, not a needy way. Or imagine saying, "You little troublemaker," when she's being playful and teasing. It's got that hint of dominance, that suggestion that you might do something about her behavior, but there's zero maternal coding in it. For those really heightened moments, when everything is intense and raw, the language gets more direct. Picture saying, "Tonight you're mine," while looking right into her eyes. There's claim in that. There's possession. Or "Come here, behave," when she's being deliberately provocative. That kind of command, that assertion of control, it creates a dynamic that's entirely about desire and power, nothing to do with family roles. Or my personal favorite that I've heard work incredibly well. Lean in close when she's catching her breath and ask, "Tell me who do you belong to?" Watch the shivers. That's pure wanting and being wanted, completely removed from any parental dynamic. The key difference in all of these is how they make her feel. Every single one of these names and phrases makes her feel desired as a woman, seen as attractive, and caught up in something passionate. None of them make her feel like she's in a caregiving role or domestic situation. Let me give you a real-world example to tie this all together. I have a friend who told me about this exact situation. Her boyfriend tried calling her mummy once during sex, thinking it would be symmetrical to when she called him daddy. She said it was like a record scratch in a movie. Everything stopped. She actually laughed because it was so jarring, but not in a good way. She told him, "I love you, but please never say that again. It makes me think about my actual mom, or worse, it makes me feel like I'm your mom." They talked about it afterward, and he genuinely didn't understand at first why it was different. So she explained it the way I'm explaining it to you now. When I call you daddy, I'm telling you you're sexy, experienced, in control. When you call me mummy, you're making me think about diapers and exhaustion. See the difference? He switched to calling her baby and beautiful girl, and occasionally my queen when he wanted to tease her, and she said the difference was night and day. Those names made her feel wanted. Mummy made her feel tired. So here's what you need to remember. Daddy in intimate context is a sex symbol. Culture has coded it as mature, powerful, charismatic, dominant. When you use it, you're tapping into a whole set of associations that make men feel validated and attractive. Mummy is a family symbol. Culture has coded it as nurturing, responsible, domestic, self-sacrificing. When you use it, you're accidentally triggering associations with labor and obligation, not desire. If you want a woman to feel something during intimate moments, hit these 3 notes. Make her feel desired, like her body and her presence are what you want right now. Make her feel seen, like you recognize and appreciate her specifically as a feminine, sexual being. Make her feel caught up in intensity, like the moment is bigger than both of you and you're both swept up in it together. Whatever you do, don't make her feel like she's babysitting you. If this video just solved a mystery you didn't even know you had, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Drop a comment and tell me, What's the most mood killing nickname you've ever heard in an intimate moment? I want to hear your stories. See you next time.